World of Tanks Field Modification. So this is a feature that's been in the game for a bit. It's called Field Modification. It's a good feature. There are some issues with it that we're going to get into. Basically, it gives you additional bonuses to the performance of your vehicle. They're not that great. It's 1%, 2%, 3%. The ability to select different rounds before the battle or to change your equipment before the battle begins. The problem with it is your tank has to be an elite tank or a premium tank, which means, if it's an elite tank, you might not be playing it ever again. Or a tier 10 tank obviously would be good. It's got to be a tank that you're going to be playing for a long time. You're not going to be able to take advantage of field modification until after you've played a lot of battles, like perhaps 100 battles or more in the tank. Although I think there is a way to get around it with the free EXP. But you're not going to have enough free EXP if you've got lots of tanks. So World of Tanks Field Modification allows you to modify specific physical characteristics of your vehicle. In some case, during the battle countdown timer, you can have alternate configurations for ammo, equipment, and consumables. You can't use it until your vehicle has been fully researched and has attained elite status. That means that you have to research the vehicle, all the modules, or not necessarily all the modules, but enough to get to the next vehicle in the higher tier, plus you got to research that vehicle in the higher tier. So it's a lot of research. It's going to take you a lot of games in order to get it. And you're probably not going to play the game because you're not going to play that tank again because if you have enough money to buy the higher tier tank, you're just going to buy the higher tier tank and move on. So these are the levels that you can have. There's 8 levels. You can upgrade each level one at a time, and you receive a bonus for the vehicle, and you can pay using combat experience or free experience. Now, every time you upgrade a level, you get something like a bonus to hit points or a bonus to engine power, like a 1% bonus, a 2% bonus, a 3% bonus. It's a permanent bonus. So every level you upgrade gives you a permanent bonus, such as additional hit points or engine power. Each level you upgrade will give you a permanent vehicle bonus, such as additional hit points or engine power in percentage. You can pay for the upgrade using experience, combat experience, or free experience. You know that combat experience means that maybe you played the tank once it's elite or premium tank. You earn the combat experience. You need to pay gold to convert it to free experience. So what you can do once you make the tank elite, instead of accelerating your crew training, you increase your combat experience and then you use it for your field modification. So you can create alternative configurations, level 1 and level 3, and then you've got level 6, which is not an alternative configuration, but it still gives you a bonus. After the start of the battle, you can change which configuration you want. So if these are consumables and ammo, you can change it to something that's pre-selected and prepaid for. For example, one could have regular ammo, the other could have gold ammo. And then in case of equipment, you could have one set of equipment for sniping, the other one for spotting, which means instead of 3 equipment slots, you'd have 6, and you have to pay for everything. So it's going to cost a bit of money to have this. What this does is gives you a bonus to one of the equipment slots. You know how you've got the bonus to the first equipment slot? This allows you to put a bonus on the second equipment slot. You can choose to enable bonuses that affect engine power, gun handling, spotting, etc. Level 2, 4, 5, 7, 8. Each option will give you a bonus for one aspect of your performance, but will penalize you for another aspect of your vehicle performance. So, for example, one might give you a higher top speed, but maybe your hull rotational speed will be penalized. One will let you aim in with a closer reticle, but it might penalize you with your aiming speed, for example. So you have to decide which of the two you want. Just, this is the way it's done with World of Tanks Blitz. All the equipment is done this way. Each level has a different cost in experience. You can buy one level at a time. Lower tiers are less expensive than higher tiers. A level might cost 3,500 to 20,000 or more. I don't know if the 224,000 is for level 8 only or for all the levels, but I suspect it's for level 8 only. 20,000 is like level 5. So here's a video that I did. So over here you see you've got the first equipment slot, which is marked for firepower. You can set your second equipment slot to get a little bit of a bonus. Never used it before. This is configuration 1, this is configuration 2. Configuration 1 has gun laying drive, coated optics, I guess it's a turbocharger, and configuration 2 is muffler, binox, coated optics. So number 1 is for sniping, number 2 is for spotting. You can switch during the battle countdown timer. You have to pay for the extra equipment. You can also change the directive. So this could have a spotting directive. This could have a sniping directive. So if you're playing for marks of excellence, you're going to want to have this because you might be in a game where you're in an open field and you want to do spotting, and you might be in a game that's a city map and you have to do close combat. And the reason why you're going to have to do it is because the top players are going to be doing it. And if the top players are going to be doing it, they're going to have higher scores than the players that aren't doing it. So in order to be competitive, to get your third mark of excellence, you're going to have to do it. So this is for ammo. This is modification 1 and configuration 2. For configuration 1, I used more AP rounds and less gold. And for number 2, I used more gold rounds. And I included the food consumable. So if you're top tier, you can go with configuration 1. But if you're bottom tier and you need better performance, you use configuration 2. It's also good for frontline, because anything can happen with frontline. So this is a cool feature. I'm glad they added it. And you can get it relatively early with the lower levels of field modification. You need experience to enable it. You want to first do it on your premium tanks. And the reason why is because you paid for those tanks, you get the bonus right away, and you play those tanks more often. That's why, because you're going to spend some free EXP or combat EXP to use for field modification. It's only 3,500. You could do that with free EXP. So you're going to want to do it for your premium tanks first. And then you're going to do your elite tanks. You might want to do the premium tanks first, your tier 10 tanks second, and then your elite tanks third. And also your tier 8 premium tanks should be high priority because you're going to play those in frontline. If you're working on marks of excellence or stat padding in general, try to enable on each vehicle before you attempt to earn the marks of excellence. So that means you're going to have to use free EXP, or you're going to have combat XP already earned somewhere in order to get it started. Now I'm going to tell you, of all these features, this is one of the best ones right here. Being able to switch to gold rounds is really effective if you're the type of person who doesn't play with gold rounds. You watch me play, you know I'll go 1,000 games and I'll never fire a gold round. So this is going to make a difference when you need it going for the marks of excellence. This also can make a huge difference. You're going to have to decide on your own. But for example, binocs are worthless on a city map, and the muffler is worthless on a city map. So you're going to have the city map configuration, and you're going to have the field map configuration, or you'll change based on whether you're top tier or bottom tier. When I start a game, let's say you're a mouse or an E100 or a Type 5 heavy, you're immediately going to look at the enemy team and see if you can beat everybody. And if you can, doesn't matter what you do. But if it's a tough game and you got tough opponents and there's 3 Type 5 heavies on the enemy team, you got to play a more competitive game. And that's when you're going to decide to switch different modules. So these are going to be the ones that are going to make a big impact on your game. Now the ammo is going to be less expensive, but the equipment could have a big impact, but it's going to be a lot more expensive for you. And these always give you the bonus. It's a small amount, but you get extra hit points. You get extra engine power. The extra hit points do make a difference. Obviously, you change your behavior based on how many hit points you have. But in some games, like if you're trying to block damage, having the extra hit points is going to make a difference. And being able to set this, it's at level 6, it's going to give you a small improvement to your game, like 1%. So, lucky you, level 1, you get to change your ammo. Level 3, you get to change your equipment. My advice is go for level 1 on all of your tanks. Go for level 3 after you've gotten level 1. And then after level 3, you're going to have to decide. I've got 400 tanks. You've got something called depth first or breadth first search. Depth first means you've got one tank you play a lot and you equip it best. Breadth first means you can have lots of tanks that aren't as equipped as well, and you don't play them as much. You do that for the first mark of excellence or the second mark of excellence, but for the third mark of excellence, you're going to have to go for your best equipped tanks with your best crew. You're going to have to pass on a lot of tanks that you bought or that you earned this year. Okay, so that's a little bit about World of Tanks Field Modification. If you have any questions or comments, go to cheapbooks.cc. Either search for Field Modification in the search bar or look for World of Tanks in the War Games section under Video Games PC. And don't forget to go to my new website, which is WOT.videogamenews.com, which is World of Tanks specific and has all sorts of World of Tanks videos. And they are categorized. For example, you can look up a medium tank like an AMX 30B, and you can see the one video that we have on it. It's a new site, so there's not a lot of videos yet. But it adds sites every day, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. If you have any questions or comments, please post below.